recipe is in my cookbook, 99 Ninja Foodi recipes, and you can get a copy on my website, which is www.susannahskitchen.uk. I'm excited to be making today's recipe because this is one I've made several times in the oven, but never tested it out in the Ninja Foodi, and that's what we're doing today. So this is my gorgeous, oh it's so good, we love it in this house, sticky toffee pudding. It is so delicious. Of course it's a little bit naughty, but you know, sometimes you just need that real indulgent pudding, and this really hits the spot. It is so good. Now, I make this gluten and dairy free. Hopefully everybody that's viewing this will be able to eat it and make it and enjoy it. So let me show you how I do this one. Everything goes into one bowl, so it makes this nice and easy. I've got in here 220 grams of gluten-free self-raising flour, and then to that we want to add 170 grams of light brown sugar. I add a teaspoon of ground ginger, and this is lovely in here. And then also some cinnamon, which is really fragrant, and we add 2 teaspoons of that. We need 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and half a teaspoon of baking powder. And if you are gluten-free, then just make sure your baking powder is gluten-free. So that's all the dry ingredients for now. So let's give that a little mix in. And then we can move on to our wet ingredients and combine the two together. I've just weighed out 100 grams of butter, and this is room temperature. You can see how soft that is. And into there, we're going to add 2 large eggs. There's my first one. And in with the second. Great. And then we can just start to combine those together. You are going to get lumps. Don't worry about it too much. It's fine. And now to add 3 tablespoons of black treacle. Oh, so good. Absolutely delicious. And this is what makes this taste so incredible. So back in again. Get another big tablespoon there, so 3 tablespoons in total. Made a nice mess everywhere, haven't I? Okay, let's give that a good whisk up. Really get that going together. Again, it doesn't matter that it's lumpy and that it's not all kind of coming together perfectly. Let's start whisking the 2 together. So I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. You might be thinking that this looks pretty awful, but trust in the process because it does come together and it does work really well, this. Wow. The smell of this, that cinnamon and ginger coming through, really strong now. Now this is going to make a really thick batter, and then we're going to thin that down by adding in our milk. Can you see how thick that is? My goodness. So again, with your milk, you can use almond milk if you want to avoid the dairy. That's absolutely no problem in here. If you do use a milk substitute, then I do highly recommend this almond drink. It's really nice, really good for protein shakes, on cereal. This one is their unsweetened vanilla and it tastes really good. So I'm just measuring out 270 milliliters. And now all we do is just whisk a little bit of this in. I tend to do it in about 3 stages. So just loosen that cake batter like this with the first amount. And then it's just a bit easier to go in with the next one. This really is the most delicious sticky toffee pudding, and I make it all the time. And my son's not big on puddings unless it's chocolate, really, but he adores this. And by the way, this will look very wet. Don't be alarmed. It's exactly as it's meant to be. It's going to be the most moist, sticky pudding. And that's exactly what we want. So I normally put this in the oven in a greased dish for around 40 minutes. And the oven is a bit lower, 160 is what I normally do. So I'm going to bake this in the Ninja. I did think about steaming it, but I kind of want to go with something that I'm pretty certain is going to work really well. There you go. Look at that. Like I said to you, we had all of those lumps earlier. We didn't have to worry. It's perfect, exactly as it is, and this is how we want it. So let me grab my tin. So this is one from the Ninja bakeware set. I've got it linked in my description for you. They are well worth the investment. I've made bread in the loaf tin this morning. The crisper plate I'm going to use for dinner later. These are just absolutely amazing. And the non-stick on these is incredible. So I really don't worry. I just go straight in. Let's go straight in. Let's pour all of that batter in. Now, a few times when I've baked something, I've lowered the temperature thinking that that was the right thing to do for the Ninja. And it hasn't worked out too well. So today I'm going to stick with what I normally do, which is 160 degrees. It may not take 40 minutes. We just want this to be set. So let's see how long it takes. So I'm using the rack and this fits on there absolutely perfectly. And then we can lower that in and out nice and easily. As I said, we're going to select bake and we're going to lower that temperature down to the 160. And I'm going to put it on for 40 minutes, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because I think it's going to be quicker. You know, we've got a small area of contained heat compared to an oven. So I'm pretty sure it will take less time, but we will see. So this has nearly had 30 minutes. So we've got just over 10 remaining. Let's just have a little quick check. Oh my goodness, it's looking really good. Let's just give it a little jiggle. It's still liquidy in the middle. So this is absolutely fine. So we're cooking this in exactly the same way as I've done in the oven. Let's give it the final 10 minutes and hopefully it'll be cooked. 3 minutes left and it is cooked and looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to take that out. So that had 37 minutes on 160 in total. So let's get my tea towel so I can lift that out without burning myself. And let's remove that. I'm just going to now leave that on the rack to cool. It has cracked around the top, which doesn't normally happen in the oven. I'm not worried about it. It's absolutely fine. Just going to weigh out the other ingredients that we need. So we need light brown sugar, 125 grams. So let's weigh that out. Put that in your Ninja. I've got 300 millilitres of cream here. Now I'm using a dairy-free Alpro one. You can get that in the fresh or you can get that in the free from aisle as a long life as well. And then lastly, I'm just measuring out 100 grams of butter. Dairy-free one that I like is the Flora, which comes in block form. So it looks exactly like this. And that's really good. I like the, so I use obviously the unsalted one for baking. And then the salted one is brilliant for on toast and things like that. It's really good. So there's my 100 grams of butter and that goes in as well. So let's get this on to sear and saute. So I'm just letting this melt down. It has started to melt together a little bit already because we still had that residual heat from when we baked the sticky toffee in there. So I will be back when this is melted and when the sauce is ready. I'm almost there with the sauce. Just got that last bit of butter to melt into that. This smells incredible. It's so sweet and absolutely delicious. Such a good dessert. And this is made all in the Ninja, which is absolutely brilliant for anyone that doesn't want to use the hob. Or maybe, you know, I've heard people that have been getting rid of their ovens as well because they are just using this so much. So that is done. Let's turn off the sear and saute. As that cools slightly, it will thicken, by the way. So I'm going to put that to one side until I'm ready to serve up a portion of this. So here is the sticky toffee pudding, and we're going to pour over a bit of that gorgeous sauce that we made. Look at that. How stunning. I'm just going to add a little bit of cream on top.